Hey, happy Thursday, everybody, and welcome to another Chamber Check-In episode from Idaho's only five-star accredited chamber. Today we have the owner of Corso Italian Steak, the James, and the Sandwich Bar with us today. I'm going to bring him on screen right now. Hi, Darren.
How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. It's a beautiful day out there.
I know. It almost feels weird. It feels like we should be doing this in person, outside instead of trapped in our various spaces.
Uh, Absolutely. Well, hey, we're excited that you guys joined the chamber through your affiliated brands, and I'm looking forward to hearing your story and a little bit about the offerings that all three of your restaurants have. But you know, first we've got this huge investment in the old Murphy's restaurant on Broadway with the Corso Italian Steak. We'll get to that here in a little bit. Darren, I got to meet you and Megan just this year, and just inspired by your shoulder to the wheel mentality, and excited to help share today. These chamber check-ins, Darren, you may not know, they started about 5 years ago when COVID was upon us, and we wanted to make sure that we still stayed engaged with our members. So one of the things we did is we started this series to help share our members' stories, their products and services. And then what I've really loved is helping share the people. So let's start with you. What's your background and history of work that led you to becoming an entrepreneur?
I mean, I've got a long, complicated, convoluted story, but like most kids, I worked in the restaurant industry when I was young. I started out, dishwashing and bussing tables when I was in high school, in between sports, and then was fortunate to come to Boise on a college football scholarship, but still had to earn money. We didn't have NIL back when I played, so I actually ended up working out with one of my business partners, Barry Werner, my current business partner in all three restaurants. I was one of his original door guys. I was a bouncer when it was concerts, and I was I was the ID checker and stuff like that, and bus tables, and helped clean up and did all that stuff through my college career because it was a bar, and I could work my night shifts there when I wasn't in school. Went on the NFL, did all that kind of stuff. Restaurants and food. Obviously, the former offensive line has always been a huge part of my life, but more importantly, it's been a massive remembrance for me for friends and family and experiences and opportunities. Got out of the NFL, served in the military here for the Idaho National Guard for about 8 years, and in that process, got a chance to really kind of get back with Barry and take on a dream that we'd had originally, which was to get into the restaurant industry and try it. I didn't want to be one of those NFL players that owned a restaurant when he played and just dumped his money into it. I wanted to be involved in what I was doing. And that first concept and dream was the James. I picked a spot that was right across the street from campus. I grew up at Suds and End Zone. I'm not afraid to admit that. There's still places that I love to go to, but in my 40s, I was looking for a little bit of a different change. And we really just wanted to enhance what they were already doing and offer another option across the street from campus. And that's what we continue to do. We're just trying to enhance Broadway and enhance Boise. And hopefully we keep bringing things to this community that they can really, really enjoy.
Wow, what a great story! I didn't know that you're a football player. I think you mentioned that a little bit, but you played for the NFL?
Yeah, I spent 9 years in the NFL. Was fortunate enough to bounce around. Thought I'd be there about 15 minutes. Kid from North Pole, Alaska, and then play Boise State, and then make it to the NFL was kind of this long dream. Figured I'd get the credit card debt paid off, and then we'd figure out how we were going to settle in Boise. My wife's from the Valley. Father retired out of Mountain Home Air Force Base. We knew we wanted to come back here, and I knew I wanted to raise a family here. So we got a little 9 year hiatus, but we always kept a home here, and we always came back and forth. And it was always our place that we knew we'd be back in. And now we're intimately engaged with the community in many, many levels.
I love it. Okay. Well, we were sharing a little bit about our Alaska commonalities. I've been to your hometown in North Pole, Alaska. My mom lives in Fairbanks, and I've been to see that place. It's pretty special.
Yeah, it's a rarity that you run into a lot of people that have been to North Pole. You get a couple of people who take the cruises and they do the Alaska experience, but I think Fairbanks, North Pole is not really on a lot of people's radar. Obviously, it's an extremely blue collar community. The Alaska pipeline, the whole 9 yards. But a lot of people end up passing through in Denali and then end up in Fairbanks and want to see a lot of that history, especially with dog sledding. I did a rod and, Ironman and stuff like, or the Iron Dog, stuff like that. So there's different reasons to be in Fairbanks, but definitely a small community. I tell everybody to go visit it. It's an amazing place. Go check it out in the summer and have a great time. And then go once back in winter when it's 60 below and realize maybe that's not why you want to be there forever. As you have family who spends part of the time there, that's the probably the best way to spend Fairbanks. I've gotten way too soft to make it through another Fairbanks winter.
The Northern Lights, I got to tell you, are spectacular. And then Chena Hot Springs is a place that I really enjoyed too when I visited there.
Yeah, exceptional. The Northern Lights are hard to beat. Chena Hot Springs is an amazing place, and then now they do that entire ice hotel up there.
Yep.
They cut out every single year, and it's an exceptional place. I mean, I love getting back to Alaska. I try to get back at least every other year. My kids have gotten to go there, and then I do business up there with a winery that we own through some friends and stuff like that. And so we find reasons to get up there and really enjoy it. And I love to visit because it truly is a special place. It's as about remote as you get. I mean, Idaho can be pretty remote. Alaska, it's 3 times the size of Texas with half the roads that Idaho has. So you can just imagine what that ends up becoming.
That ice hotel, you can stay in that ice hotel and everything's ice. The bed is ice, the toilet is ice, the bar is ice, and you can rent it out. And then you got to have the apple martini in the glass or in the ice glass.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yeah,
Okay.
a whole unique experience all wrapped in one.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. Okay, you mentioned the James, and we haven't. I don't want to talk about Corso yet because I think what's unique is you're first entering into become an entrepreneur and in the restaurant industry, and I love how you brought it home. You're like, hey, I'm a Boise State grad. We're in Boise now. I love to invest in our community that I'm familiar with, that it's needed. So tell us a little bit about the James and the sandwich bar and that whole concept.
Yeah, so the James really started out about 3 years ago. We started out originally as a whiskey and cocktail bar. We were just looking for an option, really, for the parents, for the people dropping off their kids to college, to be able to kind of come across the street and serve those people. And there was a small ghost kitchen running out of the bottom of it at the time, and we were pretty much ordering off of tablets and having them bring up the food as delivery to us. And they decided that they wanted to go a different direction. We had a unique opportunity to buy the kitchen down below us and take over all their equipment. And one of my partners at the time was an executive chef and said, hey, man, we can build a menu here and do some stuff. We really just do upscale bar food there. We found a way over the last 3 years to really kind of hone it down to exactly what it is now. And it's really, really doing well. And we have a lot of loyal regulars that enjoy it for what it is. We're obviously extremely popular when it comes around basketball season, football season, and the sports season,
Yep.
whether it be softball or soccer down the road or whatever it might be. So we get a large boost from the campus and the things that happen on that. We live and die by what happens at Boise State. No different than this entire community does. Boise is the doorstep. The campus itself is the doorstep of this community. So we enjoy it, and we cater to those relationships a lot. The sandwich bar was actually an idea that came up. When I was in college there, it was Cobby's. And, I thought it'd be really fun to have a sandwich bar back on the street and a chance. So really, it's a nod to that. I've tried not to be a nostalgic person, but, I think it gets you in trouble. And here I am, 2 restaurants in already that they're all nostalgia based. And the sandwich bar, is grab and go, upscale artisanal sandwiches really is the idea behind it. We use it to supplement our lunch menu at the James. We do a lot of catering out of it. But it's built to be kind of a grab and go. But we see a lot of our traffic from, Uber Eats and DoorDash, which all became extremely popular. And then again, what we supplement with during the lunch. So that kind of takes care of those 2 concepts. We offer our rooftop deck up there. It's rooftop season now, and it's
Yep.
it's just a cool space. We get a chance to do some caterings, we get a chance to do parties, we get to have a lot of fun. I really tried to build my own cheers. I've always tried to build businesses in places I want to be.
Yep.
And places that are very hospitality forward. I tell my staff every single day, hospitality is the answer, and that's how we treat our customers. That's how we treat each other. And with that, we've got a chance to have some success. We're going to do some things good and some things bad, but as long as we're, working with grace and, trying to offer a great experience, then I think we've got a chance to have success.
My wife and I were in there for brunch at the James, I think when it first opened. And were you the owners then about 3 years ago?
Yep, we've been the owners since day one. So brunch is back in full swing and trying to get more and more popular every Saturday and Sunday. We try to get 1 or 2 more people in every day. So
Cool. Awesome. All right. All right. Let's talk about the Corso. Now, for those that have been in Boise a long time, remember the Murphy's house there on Broadway. And it was there for, I don't know how many years, as long as I've lived here, since the
Yeah.
late 80s. And I can't remember exactly when it just dissolved, but it's been sitting. Tell us a little bit about how long it's been sitting, and tell us how, like, this is huge. This is a huge investment, Darren. How did this all happen and why?
You know what? I think it happened over one or two drinks with my business partners, and it escalated to something we weren't really expecting, anticipating. We were looking for another space. We had actually we're in negotiations with one and two other places that we were looking at bringing another restaurant in, and then the opportunity came. Our landlord, who controlled our building, controlled this building, and said, "Hey, this is getting ready. This is an opportunity, and let's see what happens." Um, it was the Ram originally, and then was rebuilt, and then became the Murphys, and then Murphys when Ram moved down the street. And it again, I fell into the trap of nostalgia. The Murphys was really, really important to me when I was in college here. From 2000 to 2005, it was where we did a lot of our team functions for football. It's where people signed their letter of intent. It's the kind of place you went to when your parents were in town and you couldn't afford to go, that they would take you out to brunch and do the big buffet and all that kind of stuff. And to see it kind of slide after so many years, after it was Murphy's, and kind of fall into disrepair and become different things, we saw an opportunity to really bring something of quality back to Broadway, and really to the valley itself, and to the to the south and east, as downtown has kind of continued to grow up and everything grows up around it. We really look at opportunities to expand on different concepts and new concepts. We're not trying to necessarily compete with anybody in the valley. We have a lot of respect for the restaurateurs in this valley that have done a great job, whether you go to Chandler or Barbacoa or Ken or wherever you might pick. They do a great job of what they do. We wanted to provide a different experience and a different opportunity, and we thought that an upscale casual restaurant was a really good fit for Boise, and especially for the valley. We weren't looking to open something that was white tablecloth. We weren't looking for something that was going to be so crazy high end. I wanted a place people feel like they could come in at happy hour and have a meal and grab a pasta and grab a beer and get out the door for a decent price on a Thursday after they just got done on the river, or on the lake. And then I want somewhere where there's a few things on the menu that are upper tier, and there's some high-end bottles of wine if you want to come in on your anniversary and really celebrate something, or your birthday, or whatever it might be. And we feel like we're doing that. We've got a long way to go. We've only been open for 2 weeks now, and we've done 100 things right, and we've done 100 things wrong, and we're going to keep adjusting. But we're going to keep trying to provide a great service opportunity. We're going to keep growing. We'll keep listening to our customers, and we'll sharpen this thing down, and we'll find a way to be something people really, really like.
So you're sitting. I mean, I know this is a virtual background, but this is what the bar or lounge looks like, right?
Yeah, this is actually the bar and lounge. I wouldn't, yeah, I can't be sitting in that right now. We're obviously getting ready for pre-service and opening, and it would just be a mess. But yeah, this is the bar. So we got kind of high tops on one side of me over here, and then we've got the bar and the cloud, and yeah. But this is really our setup. So we have a very 50s, 60s theme inside. I think that a lot of restaurants have gone to a real open air and glass and sharp and modern feel, and they do an amazing job at that. I wanted to make a nod back to the older steakhouses that were around in the 50s and 60s, the ones that kind of the warm and enveloping places that make you feel like you're home. And our dining room has that feel, and the bar obviously has a little bit more energy and a different feel in there. But each place is kind of its own, all the way back to the PDR. We have a private dining room that fits about 40 people that we use on Friday and Saturday nights when we have customers, because we want to be able to have space for walk-ins. But a place that businesses or private individuals can rent out, and for a birthday party or a corporate event or whatever it might be, that has a totally different vibe than the other three, or the other two spaces. So we kind of built three separate entities, and try to offer different levels of opportunity for everybody. Whether, again, you're looking for a quiet dinner, you're looking for a business meeting, or you're looking for a night out with your friends.
Okay, should I be concerned about what Corso Italian Steak is? Tell me about that as a newbie coming into your restaurant. What does that mean?
You know what? It's funny because people don't know what that is, and it's as simple as the name. I mean, you take away the Corso part, it's Italian and it's steak, and that's the answer. So I fell in love. I had an opportunity to play. My first 5 years were in Green Bay. Being an Alaska kid, I didn't have Italian steak, didn't know what that is, but had a chance to spend a bunch of time in Chicago and Milwaukee. And then obviously the NFL took me to places like New York and San Francisco. And you find these old steakhouses that serve actual steakhouses like anywhere else. But then they would have very homemade Italian style meals like sausage and peppers, lasagna, chicken parms, chicken piccatas, things you can recognize. Not, it's not traditional Italian food, as in you're not going to find stuff on there that you don't recognize or you don't know or you can't spell. It's going to be things that you expect in, Midwest cities that, I want big pastas and I want things that are going to fill me up. And as a former offensive lineman, that's the kind of food I fell in love with. And it's something that we saw an opportunity for here in the Valley. Again, I'm not trying to compete with Rex Chandler as being the best steakhouse in the Valley. I think Ruth Chris and these guys, people do what they do very well. And we are literally just looking for an opportunity to enhance and offer more and more options for this Valley as it continues to grow and things happen. And we want to try to do it at, various price points and various types of foods so that we can, again, enhance. My nod is to all the guys and girls in this town who have put everything on the line to open up great restaurants. It's an extremely tough business. And the more and more I learn about it, I realize how hard it truly is. And I think that they're all doing what they can. And we're hopefully just doing something a little different.
Absolutely. Yeah. Nod right back to you. I know the effort it takes and the unknowns and the uncertainty, right? You're stepping in that fog. You're like, oh, what am I stepping in here?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. So the James restaurant upstairs, right on Broadway. It's open from when to when?
Yeah, the James is open from 11 o'clock until 9 o'clock most weeknights. And then Friday and Saturdays, we will do the 10 o'clock push. And then, we're never going to kick customers out. So we're always, in the restaurant industry, most people say 5 minutes early, 30 minutes late. That's kind of the world that we live in. We want to be ready for customers all the time. You're in the hospitality business. Your job is to take care of customers. The sandwich bar itself is only open from 11 to 3. And it reflects that on our menu upstairs. So if you want to come in and grab a grab and go sandwich and take it across the street or go eat somewhere, or you're looking for something on the way home, that closes at 3 o'clock. But yeah, the James is open itself from 11, where we start offering lunch, to wrap up around 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And Corso carries the exact same hours minus the lunch shift. So right now Corso is focusing on exactly what it does, and that's dinner. And we're trying to make sure we do that really, really good before we expand and put too much on our plate and not offer the level of service we want. So we're the same. We're 4 o'clock to 9 o'clock, Monday through Thursday, and on Sunday, and on Friday and Saturday, we're a 10 o'clock place. But again, 5 minutes early, 30 minutes late.
Awesome. Okay. And catering. How do businesses connect and engage with your catering and event spaces?
Yeah, the James and Sandwich Bar right now are the sole catering operations. Corso will build into that, but the James will cater, and Sandwich Bar, we do a lot of white box lunches. The box, you got the sandwich and the cookie and a bag of chips and the whole 9 yards, and we can do platters and we can put our sides and we can do all that stuff. But those are all super easy. All of our operations are hello at either thejamesboise.com or hello at corsoitaliansteak.com. So we kept it really, really simple. There's a reason all my restaurants seem to have 5-letter names. I'm a pretty simple guy. I'm an ex-football player. I want things people can spell and people can pronounce.
Wow, this is awesome. I got the website of the corsoitaliansteak.com scrolling at the bottom of the screen to check out the menu and their hours of operations and get your reservations in. I'm assuming you're taking reservations.
Yeah, we're taking full reservations now. The James has reservations, but a lot of the time that's, it's fill in unless you're trying to show up on a game day. I always recommend people have reservations, especially if they know they want the patio. It's patio season right now. I think it's 80 degrees out there right now, so I guarantee our patio's packed. So, if you're looking for reservations for a specific spot, we always recommend that. Corso, I always recommend reservations, especially as we get more and more popular. We haven't gotten to the point yet where we're ready to start doing a ton of promotions. We want to make sure that the level of service is at the place we want it to be before we start, doing 200 and 300 covers a night. I want to make sure that my staff is prepared. We're training a lot of these people as they go. Boise's food scene is still growing, and a lot of these kids, because they really are kids, are still learning this industry and trying to get better and better at it. So make sure that they're at a place where they feel comfortable and we feel comfortable offering them completely to the public.
That's awesome, Darren. Well, I've known Barry for a long time as well. You guys seem like you have a great team and a good disposition between two of you, and then Megan as well, your whole entire staff. Hey, kudos to y'all.
Hey, thank you very much. And hopefully we're going to see a bunch of you May 6th. We've got the ribbon cutting with you guys. out there for happy hour. So 3:30 to 5:30. I think we're giving away some gift certificates. We're going to give away some appetizers and kind of open the doors for everybody to see. We've actually blocked off the first I think 2 hours of reservations to make sure that there's seats available so everybody can come in and enjoy it for a little bit and see what's going on and see what we're offering. Again, the Valley.
Public grand opening and ribbon cutting May 6th at 3:30 to 5. 4 o'clock will be the official ribbon cutting, I believe, right in there. Show
Yep.
up, check it out, get a craft cocktail, and enjoy the scenery. Sit down, get some dinner, make reservations for future anniversaries and milestone events. Hey, a couple more minutes. Anything else you want to educate the listeners on while we have you today, Darren?
No, I mean, I guess I could always talk about me and I could talk about my restaurants forever. I really just want to thank the Valley. I'm the first person to admit that, this university and this Valley has given me everything. They gave me my education and paid for it and brought me in here to play sports. I met my wife here. I've raised my kids here. I joined the military here as a first thank you to this Valley to support it, not on just a national level, but on a local level, fighting fire and doing search and rescue. And my businesses are the exact same thing. These are opportunities, not necessarily for me as much as I just want to continue to provide places that enhance Boise and make it, I think it's just one of the most amazing places in the world. And I'm proud to call it home, and I'm proud to, own all my businesses here and continue to try to make it an even better place for its residents. So I just want to thank everybody for, again, the very first opportunity and on this very next opportunity.
Well, a nod to you, sir. Thank you for your efforts and your entire team. I look forward to seeing you 1st of May, and have a great weekend.
You too, Paul. You let me know if you need a reservation because I know a guy. I can get you in.
Yes. Okay. Hey, say hi to everybody. Have a good night tonight.